Hello. Next up, we're going to look at some analytics related to our specific customers. And in general, we're going to be looking at wholesale in this case because we don't always get good individual customer information out of our tap room, just because some pay in cash. Other times it's more of a generic credit card, so we're not real sure who each of those people are. But we certainly know who our wholesale customers are, so we're going to focus on them. A few different levels of detail we're going to look at. First dashboard is an overview of different customer groups. So a lot of times it's good to segment your customer base in a few different ways. Maybe are they large customers, small? Are they important to us or not that important? Or what type of business they're in. For example, a supermarket versus a restaurant or a resort or something else that's important for you to track closely. And then see how all of those are interacting, and sometimes a segment is buying something different than another segment. It's always good to know what everybody's buying of all your different beers you offer. Okay, so here's our customer portfolio dashboard up on Tableau Cloud. This would be connected to all of our demand information. First, let me orient you on here, and then we'll see if we can find a few takeaways. First up, we're showing, as we're comparing different periods together, this is where we're able to enter in the main period we want to compare versus a different period of time. So basically right now we're comparing this winter so far compared to last winter. And then we're going to see some basic statistics. And this is showing of our wholesale customers. We've sold about 212 barrels of volume across 216 individual customers for total sales of a little over $100,000. That's down 10% from last year, this same period, and our margin for wholesale has been 70%. Next up, as we're sliding across the right, we're going to see a demand trend. So this is now segmenting our customer base into four different segments. We're breaking them into large and small customers. So those do they have large volume of sales with us? Do they fit in the top 50% of our customer base? Or are they a lot of smaller customers? And then we're breaking down the industry view into two separate ones that this specific brewery wants to target a little more closely. We have different resorts, those are grouped together. And then wholesale foods is the largest supermarket, so we have those grouped together also. So we can see what some of those different trends look like. For our largest customers, we can see that they really spike up in the summertime. So that's where a lot of our volume goes through. And then they have a slower period of time in the fall and the winter. On the other hand, for some of these resorts we're selling to, they have kind of an opposite demand trend. So they're busier in the winter time and a little bit slower in the summer. Next up, as we're sliding off to the right, this is showing where our customer base lives. So if you're familiar with California, we have a lot of these top customers in the Sacramento area. So each of these bubbles is a different zip code that we sell into. So you can see what some of those are. And then if you hover over them, like I'm doing here, we can see some of the individual customers that make up that zip code that we're looking at there. Okay, so now down below, we're going to get some more detail onto each of these different customer segmentations. So you can see we have our large customers, our small customers, our resorts, and our Whole Foods. And then we're breaking each of these categories down one more level. We're showing, are they local to the brewery or are they non-local? So each of the main four categories is now broken down into two more. So we have a total of 8. And then as we're looking at these different visual indicators off to the right, each of these little boxes is going to show an individual customer within this segment. So this is showing that of all of our local large customers, these are the ones that make it up. And in total, local large customers made up 35% of our sales from this period that we're looking at. 7% of our total sales were made up of non-local large customers, etc. You can read it down this way. Next up, we're going to look at what beers are they buying, and you'll see that they all buy a little bit different of our beer portfolio. If you were to hover over any of these, you would see what the different beer style is and what's important to them or not. I think just looking at here, we can see for large local customers, they buy a lot of our hazy IPA. This is one of our flagships. But if you're looking at this next bar down here for local resorts, they don't buy near as much of that as compared to Pale Ale. They buy a lot of our flagship ale. So a good way to see the variety that each of our different customer groups buy that might be different from one another. Next up, we're going to see, are they buying kegs or are they buying cans? So some are definitely more dominant towards buying kegs of beer, and then others are buying cases of our cans of beer. And then finally, for each of these different segments, we're looking at performance. So if you remember up here, we entered in a period we want to compare against. So this is showing how is this winter so far comparing against last winter. So reading through here, you can see we're relatively flat with our large local customers. But for our large non-local, we're actually down quite a ways. So this would be something that would be good for us to dive into on the next dashboard. All right, so that was our customer portfolio dashboard. I like that one for a few reasons. I think it's good to be able to see on a single dashboard all of your different customers kind of stacked up against each other. So you're able to see different trends, who's doing well, who's not doing so well. And then ideally, you'll be able to identify some specific things that stand out, and you're able to either look at them further into our customer deep dive dashboard, which we'll review in a minute, or you already have actions you want to go and do. And this will really help you keep tabs on your customer strategy and make sure that the customer performance is following that strategy. If you'd like more information on this, if you have any questions, and more importantly, if you'd like to see some of your own data plugged into a dashboard like this that would be updated on a periodic basis, please contact me. My email is jeremy@centralcoast-analytics.com. Again, that email is jeremy@centralcoast-analytics.com. Thanks for your time. Have a great day.